Hey friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today I am finally going to get rid of some of the Christmas decorations on my front porch. Yes, I know it is mid-January. There's grace in gardening and Christmas decorations, my friend. And we are going to pot up, create evergreen containers on the front porch. So let me show you exactly what we're going to do in the space that we are in, because I know that you sweet people do enjoy getting all of the details. Obviously, front porch, right. And yes, one of our Christmas tree stands is still sitting out. That's all right. Yes, we still have Christmas pillows sitting on the front porch. I mean, there's snowflakes. It's winter, right? It didn't necessarily say Christmas, so it's all good. On our last unique stone order, Jerry and I decided, and Jerry really was the one that really kind of pushed this idea, is he wanted to get 2 urns that would be matching on either side of our front door, and then 2 smaller containers here on the lower part of like the steps, right? These are a little bit too big to fit on the steps, so they're going to sit right here. These will stay here permanently, and we'll just switch out the annuals. Now, currently what is in here are some pansies and some artemisia. So this is what I tell you is when my front porch, like the winter sun and summer sun are very, very different. These are looking a little sad. It is cool today. I think the high's like in the lower 40s. But right now these are looking a little sad. Once the gets more sun as the season progresses, they'll perk up and be pretty. You know, it is what it is for right now. On the front porch, we got 2 of the Norfolk urns from Unique Stone, and I honestly don't remember if this was light walnut or dark walnut, but we love the height and the shape of these because this is a one piece. It kind of looks like they're on a pedestal, but they're not. It's just all of one piece. They're slightly smaller than the Spanish urn. The Spanish urn was just going to be too big here. So we have 2 Norfolk urns, and these, yes, were Christmas decorations. So what I did is I went down to the nursery and grabbed 2 of these. I think these are the needlepoint hollies, and they're not planted. They're actually still in their containers. I think you can see it better on this one, so let me pan for you over here. I stuffed the bottom of the urn with the Unique Stone burlap bags. This is sitting on top of it. This one got a little wind blown, so she's a little crooked, but the container is still in there. Then I got just a grapevine wreath from Hobby Lobby, put it on there, and then some faux berries because we don't get beautiful winter berries here in North Carolina. So it looked great. And then of course the Christmas lights, left them on, you know, for the whole time and at night, and they were gorgeous. So what we're going to do is we are going to take these urns apart, and we are going to actually plant them with soil and compost and real live plants. I have a combination that in my head it's going to look great. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take you along for the ride, and we're going to go get all of our supplies, all of the plants and everything from various parts of the nursery. So let's go for a ride. Let's go. Here we are up at production, and I have a collection of plants here that were plants that our sweet friends at Proven Winners sent me basically last year, different parts of the year. And I have 2 evergreens that are currently in, I believe that's 3 gallon, 2 gallon? I can't remember. I think it's a 3 gallon. So these nice two upright evergreens right here. So what these are, let me show you the tag here. This is the Pinpoint Blue and Gold. This is a false cypress. Now, this is going to be a very large tree ultimately. It can get up to 15 to 20 feet tall and 4 to 5 wide. It is going to be obviously nice and narrow and nice and tall. Notice though the hardiness zones are 5 to 7 and it's sun to part shade. I am a newly 8A garden. Remember they adjusted the plant hardiness zones a couple of months ago. So we're going to go ahead and use these. We're going to plant them up in the containers, and then with all of these plants that we're going to put in the containers, come spring when I switch out these containers for my summer plantings, then I will take these plants and plant them in the garden. These are most likely, not for sure, but most likely going to go somewhere up in the chicken coop gardens because I think they would be really fun there. Either that or they're going to end up in the signature garden in the surrounding beds somewhere. So grab these two, and then we're going to grab some land and seed compost. All right, let's go for a ride. All right, so here we are at the Pines, and I am going to grab some hellebores, some Lenten roses. I adore hellebores, Lenten roses. They are going to be one of your toughest, lowest maintenance, more on the shade side. Shade garden, naturally deer rabbit resistant because they have tough texture. They don't like to chew on them, and they're called Lenten roses because they will typically bloom this time of year, right? Or going into the season of Lent. They are one of the rare things, other than I would say like camellias for us here in the South, that bloom in the wintertime. So, we have got some beautiful ones, and I think I know which ones I want, but I'm not sure. So let me show you. Here we are, of course. We have not come over here and really kind of cleaned up after the storms. So you can see, like, we need to come in here. We've got, that's the bad thing about living under pine trees. You get sticks that fall with wind. So we need to come in here and clean them up. We have a great selection on this table. We've got more, but different ones. This is, let's see, the Ice and Roses rose. So you can see it right here. So there is one that's already opened. Next door, this is a rose as well. And look at all of those buds in there. Is that not beautiful? However, what I think I'm going to do is the Ice and Roses red, which is right here. I love this plant. I love this hellebore. I have one planted just a couple of feet away from me in the garden here at the nursery, and it is just stunning. I love it. So we're going to go with the Ice and Roses red, and this is a very well-developed plant. Like, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? We'll talk more about the plant itself, but just look how much even Brenna enjoys it. Look how many blooms are on that thing. Love it. All right, so I'm gonna find another one because I think I spy with my little eye one right there. I'm gonna grab that one. All right, got those loaded up. Now, I need one more type of plant, and I'm either going to do a Carex grass-like plant. I would love to do Feather Falls, but I don't think I have enough. I need two. And Feather Falls has been so stinking popular, rightly so. I only have one, and she's kind of puny looking. So I can either do the, I want to say this is Everillo, which would be a great option. It is a beautiful chartreuse color. You can see the one little Feather Falls that is left. Here we have the, yes, the Everillo. So you can see nice, bright green. And this will get to be a nice size. So the nice chartreuse color. So that most definitely could be an option. Or I could come over here and pick out a euchera. So this could be, like for example, look how pretty the, this is ball gown, I want to say. Yes, this is the dressed up ball gown from Proven Winners, and just a really, really nice looking plant. I want to do something that's nice and bright green that will contrast really nicely against the foliage of both the tree and the hellebore. So I'm gonna have to do some thinking here for a second. All right, I'm all for about testing things out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab one of each, and we're gonna come back down here to Johnny, and we're gonna mock up the container right here, and we're gonna see which one I like. The colors, I think both would work. I kind of like, I don't know what I like, y'all. I like the color of the Everillo. I also like the fact that it's gonna be a little more drapey, trailing, if that makes, I know drapey is not a word. I like to make up my own words. So let's see here. Let's do this. All right, give me a second. All right, so here we go. All right, we got the Pinpoint Blue and Gold. Now I know the height's gonna be a little off because they're not gonna be at the pots aren't gonna be at the same level. So let's take this guy right there, okay? And I'm gonna move this one back because it's a little bit smaller. We're gonna kind of mock this up. I'm gonna clean up this hellebore when we get over there. So, all right, there you go. So nice is tight and upright, not gonna have really any kind of trailing effect on that. And then let's switch out the euchera for the grass. Now, obviously the grass is gonna be more up, like higher up, and so will the hellebore when we get them in the pot. I don't think you could go wrong. I don't think there's a wrong answer here, and probably what I'm gonna do is, because I can't make a decision right now, I'm probably gonna take both of them. I'm gonna take two eucheras, I'm gonna take two grasses. When we get it there, we start planting, it's gonna be a game time decision. Sometimes that's just how it works. So go grab those other two and a couple bags of Proven Winners potting soil, and we'll be good to go. Let's go for a ride. So I have gathered all of my materials. I emptied out the Norfolk urns, got rid of that, put some whatever needs to go in the house, goes back in the house. The trees will just go back onto the nursery lot. That is the perk of owning a nursery. I can go borrow plants whenever I want to. What I have is brought all the plants up here. I have the Proven Winners potting soil, I have the Land & Sea compost, and I grabbed a bag of biotone. Whenever I plant my containers, Doesn't matter if it's a hanging basket, if it's a hay rack, if it's a pot, any type of container. I learned this trick a few years ago and has made all the difference in my container gardening. Is that I will start with my land and seed compost. Take your compost, and whatever the size container is, you're going to fill the bottom 1/3 with that compost. Now, unique stone, every time I plant a unique stone, people ask, does it have a drain hole? Yes, if Unique Stone has designated it as a planter, it will have a drain hole. So kudos to them. They know how to make containers. All right, so take my land and seed, bottom 1/3. Now, this is a bit of a soapbox of mine. Please don't fill your container with, in the bottom, with filler. Plastic bottles, pine cones here in the South, packing peanuts, whatever. I am not going to have to replace this soil for my summer container, right? Because these plants are going to be in here for just a little bit of time. They're not going to have massive root growth. I'll be able to easily pull them out and have lots of beautiful, delicious soil in here. I want as much soil in my containers as I possibly can have so that it holds more water, it holds more food for the plants, and the plants have, their roots have more room to grow. If you've only put a little bit of soil in here compared to the container, your plants are not going to thrive as they could as if you had filled it completely with soil. Also, for me, my summers, incredible amounts of heat and humidity. If I don't fill this completely up with soil, then I'm gonna be out here watering literally multiple times a day. I ain't got time for that, right? And I want my plants to be big and beautiful. So, personal soapbox, and there's always somebody that goes, well, I do that and it works great. Well, good for you, but I am not gonna teach you to do that. So, then take my Proven Winners potting soil, and I'm not going to fill it up all the way because I've got plants to put in there. So get a nice amount in there. I find it's easier to add soil than take soil away. And because this is a brand new planting, I want to come in there and kind of compact it, because when we water it, that soil is going to naturally go ahead and settle some. So let's just go ahead and help the process out and compact it. Now, my two, I always forget the name of this thing, my two Pinpoint Blues and Golds. I don't know if you can see, but there is a height difference in these two. I only have two. Now, optimally, in a perfect world, they would be the same size, same shape, same everything. But life is not perfect, so we're going to go with what we have. Because this one is taller, I'm going to put it on this container, because on the other side, I have my sign and my light. So I'm going to put the shorter one over there. Y'all, in the grand scheme of things, nobody's going to notice that these are two different heights. It's okay, right? Gotta go with it. So what I'm going to do first is just to see if my soil level is right, which it really is, because my pot, the soil level of the container is just below the lip of my Unique Stone container. So what I'm going to do is just slide this out, and it's got beautiful growth. You want a pot? There you go. My girl does love a good pot. And it's got good growth, and all I'm going to do is just kind of coax the roots just a little bit so that they don't get too circled up. It is not a root-bound pot. We're just going to help them. And we're going to put this in, and we'll be able to move it more when we get the soil in. So basically it's in the center, and I'm going to leave it. Now, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put my Biotone in. Even though, if you've used the Tone products before, I am sure that you have found that critters, whether it be your dog, your cat, mice, raccoons, whatever, they find this stuff irresistible. And I keep our containers up on a shelf, but somebody obviously climbed up, and there is, can y'all see that big old hole? Somebody had a delicious supper and chewed into that. So some little critter got into that, so that's why we're doing it sideways. Just going to do that down a little bit. We're going to coax our plant, because we have got to put in our hellebore. Beautiful. Nice, nice, gorgeous plant. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit. Let me show you how to do it. So what I have, right, I've got the gorgeous Lenten Rose, and I have got my Felco clippers here. This is the number 2. What we're going to do is, this is getting to be the time of the year, even if you have Lenten Roses, hellebores in your garden, in the landscape, we're getting to the point of that season where it's time to go ahead and trim up. So what we're going to do is trim out the old foliage. And for me, now this foliage, the old foliage does not look bad, but it's large and it's hiding my flowers. And I want to go ahead and get rid of that. They're naturally going to be pushing out new foliage with those new flowers, and the old foliage is going to start to lay down and die. So since I'm putting them in containers, I'm just going to go ahead and be a little bit more preventative and forward thinking and get rid of it. So we have this massive branch right here. And y'all, all you do is you just trace it down to where it is in the plant, and you're just going to simply snip it off. It is as simple as that. And then you can start to see where those beautiful flowers are starting to shine through. So over here, we've got another nice big one right here. Come down to the base. Come down here to the base and snip. There we go. And we've got a couple of more. We're going to go ahead and clean up. All right, so now we have a beautiful, nice, trimmed up hellebore that the flowers are just going to shine. There are a bunch of blossoms down there that are going to come up and be beautiful. So this is the perfect plant to put in your winter container. So we're going to get this one in. All right, let me show you. Now this is what I would call a root bound plant. We definitely want to break this up. So can you see the extensive amount of roots right here? And y'all, this thing, when I say it's solid, it is solid. So there we go. We want to go ahead and get it broken up. So if you have your hoary, this is a great time to do it. I'm just gonna go ahead and admit, I'll confess right here, I don't have my tool belt with me. I just grabbed a couple of things. Should have grabbed my tool belt. I have my hoary in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close my Felcos, so I'm not gonna damage my blade, and I'm just gonna break it up a little bit. Do what you gotta do, people. Went ahead and added some more soil in there because I have a 3-gallon tree compared to 2 1-gallon containers. So I needed to make up a little bit of a height difference there. So that's what I did, and I'm just compacting it down. Now I'm gonna be selfish here. I want the hellebores closest to me when I come in and out of the door. So I'm going to put the hellebore on this side, and then we're going to put the grass or the euchre on the other side. All right, so it's in, it's not buried for right now. We're going to do that in a second. Now, let's decide hellebore, not hellebore, we got hellebore, euchre or the Carex. All right, I really don't think you can go wrong here, but I'm going to go ahead with the Carex. Now, the Carex is not looking optimal right now because it is mid-January. However, I'm thinking beyond that, and it has a brighter chartreuse color right now than the ball gown does, and it's going to have that little bit of a wispier, different texture to it, which I like. So we're going to go with the Everillo Carex. All right, so we got one of the urns is planted, and what we're going to do is I'm just going to pop over to the other one and basically do the exact same thing at the next one. So let's get that one done as well. Both of the urns are planted, and y'all, couple things. One, I am a messy container gardener, so I just throw things everywhere and make a hot mess. So Jenny has got some cleaning up to do. I'm going to do it in just a minute. Also, very happy with how they turned out. I did decide last minute, didn't show you. I thought, they're looking a little bare, a little something extra. So I went back and grabbed those grapevine wreaths that I used for Christmas and just shimmy them down and snuggled them in. I like how it gives just a little bit of, just a little different texture, just gives it a little something extra to it, right? And then I started looking at it, I was like, okay, does it look like a bird nest? Maybe so. I don't know. Regardless, I enjoy them. I like them. Now, is this like, in my opinion, like massive, like magazine worthy for a winter display? Probably not. Do I care? Absolutely not, because this is my home. This is my garden, right? We have talked about this before. It is your garden. If you enjoy it, great, go for it. I love it. Plus, I do know that we're going to see lots of growth on these 3 plants. Maybe not quite so much on the tree, but the hellebore and the Everillo, we're definitely going to see some nice growth between now and then when I plant them for my spring/summer annuals, which probably could easily be like mid-April. So we're talking a good, February, March, April, 3 months. So we're going to have good 3-month growth on these, and they will do just fine and be beautiful. Like I said before, what I will do at that time is take all of them out, and then I will go plant them in the gardens in various locations. So what we're going to do is just really quickly, because like I said, I tend to be quite a messy gardener and I just throw things everywhere. So I'm going to get the blower. I'm going to fill up 2 watering cans and get these containers watered, and then I will meet you back here in just a minute. My friends, today's project is done and it is all clean, complete and cleaned. It's lunchtime. Jenny needs a little nutrition. All right, so let's just go over really quickly what we did. Final recap. It's the teacher and me. You got to recap the lesson just to make sure we hit home on all those points. Okay. The urns, nice, completely filled up with all sorts of delicious soil and compost. Each one has that Pinpoint Blue and Gold false cypress in it. we will transplant all of these plants into the garden this spring. We have that beautiful Everillo Carex. It is a gorgeous chartreuse color. And y'all remember how I told you it didn't look so hot, like it, you know, wear and tear, right? Just the ends are a little burnt. Already though, in here, new growth is popping out. Now that it's in that nice yummy soil, it will take off. Everybody of course got Biotone, Ice and Roses Red. Y'all, I'm telling you, if you see this hellebore out and about, grab it. You will not be disappointed. It is a beautiful, and for a hellebore, a nice vigorous grower. Just stunning. Both of the containers, the bottom 1/3 is filled with land and seed compost. Then we went with Proven Winners potting soil. Yes, it has slow release fertilizer in there, but slow release fertilizer is released by temperature. It's cold. There's no fertilizer going to be released right now, but as the temperatures warm up, that will happen. All of these little buds are just going to open up and be gorgeous in color. Went ahead and put that grapevine wreath around it just for a little extra something there. Don't be like Jenny, and when you water, I went a little too fast and soil came out of the pot, and then my nice clean porch has soil all over it again. So I will come back once everything's dry, and I will go ahead and blow it again. Y'all, I know this is not specifically Christmas, you know, Valentine's is right around the corner. It is winter. We in North Carolina are praying for at least one good snow. So I'm just going to leave out my snowflake pillows. And I mean, my gosh, we always need joy in our lives, right? So let's just leave out the joy pillows as well. It'll bring a pop of color to this whole space as well. Now, as far as watering, because I know people are going to ask about like watering, maintenance, fertilizer on these guys. These are not on irrigation because they're on my front porch. I don't have the irrigation. While I have it to my hanging baskets above me on the front, I don't have it on here. This area, even in the summertime, it only receives maybe 1 to 2 hours of sunlight in the late afternoon. Other than that, it is in complete and total shade. Wintertime, 100% shade. Those watering cans were 2-gallon watering cans. Water them in nice and well. Because it is winter, the evaporation process is not going to be happening very much. I've got all that great soil in there. It's going to retain that moisture. I may come out here, I don't know, y'all, every 10 days, something like that. That's trying to tell you exactly how to water is really hard because it depends on temperature and the dew point and the humidity and where you are and blah, 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 blah. You want it moist, not soaking wet, and not bone dry. There you go. So I'll just give them some water. It has the Biotone in there. We talked about the slow release fertilizers in the Proven Winners potting soil. So fertilizer, none. It's just, we're going to leave it and leave it alone. And springtime, take them out, go put them in the garden, and we'll take care of that as well. I think that's it. I think that is all of the information that I needed to give you. But again, very happy with how they turn out. Gives me some good height, gives me some structure, gives me some pop of color. And then as those hellebores and Carex continue to grow and be very happy, they will bring even more color here. So even if you are in the dead of winter like we are here mid-January, depending on where you are, because I know that massive amounts of the country are getting pounded with tons of snow and extremely cold temperatures. I don't envy you people. I've had multiple people in Nebraska talk about their temperatures. I don't envy that one bit. Now, a good snow. Us Southerners, in case you didn't know, we love at least one good snow a year, right? When I say a good snow, like 6 inches would be a good snow. 6 inches or more would be great. We want everything to be covered. But it can only last for like 2 to 3 days, and then it needs to be gone because then we're done. We've got the snow out of our system. We're done. We're great. We're ready for spring. So, I mean, you know, that's just the way it is, folks. So, as always, we hope you found this fun, informative, and inspirational. Y'all have a great day. See you in the next video. Bye, my friends.